Whatever phase you are in your life right now, whether things are going great or you're facing a tough moment, one thing that you definitely need to do at least once in your life is to solo travel. It is definitely one of the most transformative things that you can do for yourself. So today I want to talk about solo traveling, especially for a female traveler. And the thing that inspired me to create this video is because I'm going back to my first ever solo trip destination, which is Vietnam. I went to Vietnam 7 years ago as my first ever solo trip. And ever since, I feel like I've been traveling nonstop, and that point in my life really opened up a new opportunity, changed my perspective. And yeah, so today I want to share about everything that I've learned and things that you need to consider about if you're also planning to do a solo travel. Now let's start with the first one, which is the fear of solo traveling. I know how intimidating the thought of solo traveling can be. I mean, like, I've been traveling nonstop for years, but even the thought of like going on my solo travel to a destination that I've been before still kind of make me a little bit nervous. That feeling of being unknown in a foreign places or a foreign country and having to stepping out from your comfort zone, it is definitely something that makes a lot of people hesitating about go on a solo travel. But let me tell you, it does get easier over time, and this experience of solo traveling is so worth all the nervous and all of the things that you will experience or learn from solo traveling is so worth it. But here are the things that you want to do before you decided to go on a solo travel, especially if you're planning to do solo travel abroad. You want to start small, and by this I mean before deciding on going on a solo travel to a foreign country, you can start by taking yourself out on a solo date. I love to do this, especially once a week, where I just like go out by myself, explore a new area where I'm at, and yeah, just taking the time, enjoying my own company, whether it's like reading a book, journaling. So this is something that you can definitely incorporate to build more self-confidence, so you know that you can actually count on yourself. And your first ever solo travel doesn't have to be to a country where they don't speak the same language or somewhere in a different continent. You can either start small by going to a nearby city by yourself, or if you want to travel abroad, you can also do more research about which country or which city specifically is safe for a female solo travel. Because one country can has different area, and you do want to pick an area where it's like more safe for a female solo travel. Which bring me to point number 2. You want to research about the country itself. For example, countries like Japan, Thailand are very easy to navigate for a solo travel. You want to go to a place where the public transportation is easy to navigate, or you won't have a huge culture shock. For example, you can go to Bali. There's a lot of like fellow expat or like fellow travelers who are living in Canggu. So Bali itself is a perfect example for this. If you're planning to go to Indonesia and you want to go to Bali, you want to make sure you stay in an area where you know it's more convenient for tourists. You want to stay in Canggu or Uluwatu or Ubud, and for your first time there, you might want to avoid like other rural area like Sidaman or Tabanan, because in this area it will be harder to navigate, especially if you don't speak the local language. The other thing that can help to ease your anxiety is to plan ahead. But the key here is to not overplan. You just have to plan the essential in advance. For example, the accommodation. Figure out how you'll get from the airport to the hotel or Airbnb that you're staying, and research some of the must-see places. Make sure these are the places that you personally want to explore, because that is the beauty of solo traveling. You don't have to wait for other people's approval. You can make the itinerary based on like what you prefer. However, you really don't want to overplan, because it's really nice to leave some room for spontaneous thing. One of the things that I really like about solo travel is you can take the pace based on what you want. So for example, you're just exploring a museum, and instead of spending 1 hour, you want to do 2 hours. You can do that because you're traveling by yourself. And yeah, I think it's important to just like leave the room open so you don't have to stress about when you have to leave the place and go to the other destination. You also can never expect when you meet new friends when you're solo traveling, and that is also one of the beauty of solo traveling. You become more aware of your surrounding, and most of the time you'll make meaningful connection when you're traveling solo. Next, let's talk about your packing essentials. When you're solo traveling, you definitely want to have all your equipment in hand. You want to make sure, because you can't really rely on anyone else. And personally, I want to show you something that has changed my travel game, which is the Yoyovac packing cubes. Now, if you haven't heard about packing cubes before, it's basically those bags where you can put all your clothing, shoes, bags, anything that you own into separate bags. And the cool thing about Yoyovac, it's not like a normal packing cubes. These packing bags are an absolute game changer. Not only do they help me to stay organized, but the vacuum features compresses everything to save so much more space. Like seriously, I never realized how much space I was wasting before using this. And the coolest part is they come with an AirTag, so you can always track where your luggage is. This feature is a lifesaver because I personally experienced losing my luggage when I was in Georgia, and it took me 2 days to find my luggage. If you have the AirTag, you can easily just trace where your bag's at, and it will be so much easier and faster to find your belongings. Because let's face it, whether you're traveling solo or you're traveling with someone else, you definitely don't want to lose your belongings. Now, I never travel without my Yoyovac bags because honestly, I don't want to risk like losing days just to being stressed about finding my luggage. And yeah, those 2 days can easily go to like exploring the new places instead of going back and forth and making call to the airport. Also, as a thank you for always supporting this channel, and as a little giveaway after I reach 10,000 subscribers, I still can't believe I'm saying that, but I just want to tell you guys how grateful I am for your support. So I'm doing a little giveaway. I'll be picking one winner here on YouTube for this Yoyovac vacuum bag. This is definitely a game changer throughout my travel, so I really want you guys to try out this product as well. So it comes with 2 vacuum bags, the vacuum itself. It also comes with a scale like this that you can easily use to check your luggage, because you definitely want to make sure your luggage is not overweight and pay extra at the airport. And also it comes with the AirTag that you can easily track from your iPhone, which makes it perfect. So yeah, all of this package at one. I will pick one winner, and to enter, just make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, also leave a comment down below. You can let me know where is your dream travel destination. And yeah, make sure to join this giveaway. I can't wait to pick the winner. But let's continue with this video. Couple other things that you definitely want to carry with you is a power bank, because we'll be using our phone most of the time, whether it's taking photos, videos, or navigating with Google Maps. So you want to make sure that you have enough battery, because technically you're relying on yourself. And the other thing that can help you ease into your solo travel is to get an eSIM, because you always want to stay connected to the internet. So make sure that you have all those things figured out before you travel. This will help a lot to prevent you from being like overwhelmed or getting stressed during your trip. Next, let's talk about choosing the accommodation. So a lot of questions that I got is like whether you should book an Airbnb, hotel, hostel, or guest house when you're traveling solo. Well, I would really say the thing that you really want to pay attention to first when booking an accommodation is the area. You want to pick a place that is safe and also social. I personally recommend either staying in a hotel or hostel or guest house based on your traveling style. If it's usually harder for you to go to sleep, then I would say you need to pick the comfort. So hotel might be a better option. Also, the safety in hotel is usually better compared to hostels or guest house. But if you know you want to be social, you want to be spontaneous, then hostels or guest house is perfect, because you can meet a lot of fellow travelers, and yeah, you might ended up traveling together with them. I would recommend not to book an Airbnb, because for me personally, when I solo travel, I just want to find a place that has a front desk instead of like just going to a random apartment or condo, especially when I'm traveling by myself, and especially if it's short term. Yeah, either choose hotels or hostels or guest house. On the topic of making friends when you're traveling, I know a lot of people don't want to solo travel because they don't want to feel lonely during their trip, but trust me, it is actually easier to meet people along the way. Obviously, you do want to be more careful when you're meeting strangers, especially when you're traveling solo. So always trust your instinct, and most of the time you can see where exactly you meet those people from, whether it's at a cafe in the daytime or bar in the evening. I would say for safety reasons, I personally wouldn't go out at night. The reason why I want to solo travel, or when I travel, I just want to experience the life there, see the culture. So those are the things that you can usually do during the daytime. And always share your itinerary with your friends, your family. It's also really helpful to share your location. And yeah, like what I said before, I usually aim to go home or like go back to the accommodation around 8, 9 the latest. Just avoid scrolling around by yourself late at night, especially if you're not really familiar with the area. So final thoughts, you need to embrace the journey. Trust me, solo traveling will be a life-changing experience, and you need to do it at least once in your lifetime. It really taught me to trust myself, also embrace the uncertainty, and also like find joy in a little moment. Some of like my favorite memories when I'm solo traveling was like sitting at the cafe, people watching, or like just like going to the beach and just really absorb my environment. It makes me feel so grateful that I have built this self-trust to go somewhere new by myself and rely on myself to have a good time. So if you're on a fence about going on a solo travel, take this as the sign, and I hope you find some useful information from this video. Alright then guys, that's all for the video. I actually have to run to the airport to go on my solo trip to Vietnam. I'll be going to Ho Chi Minh, and I've never been there, even though I've been to Vietnam twice, so I'm really excited. Yeah, I can't wait to share with you my travel to Ho Chi Minh, and I'll see you in Ho Chi Minh City. Bye!